Jeez.
Okay,
have
so
a tone and
now
they
we're
still
up
come.
to the point of our first exercise,
Which
which is all about relaxation. So the thing to do is to get comfortable. So I've taken off my jacket, so that's part of getting comfortable for me. The thing
take off my
that I really want to stress with the relaxation part of this, and going back, this is one of the things that I talked about right off the bat. The symbolic solutions process starts by relaxation, and then we get into different things that we can do in our imagination. And then the final step is just trust the process. So that's our three-step thing that we're working with today. Relaxation is really, it's the thing that gets everything else going. Trust is really the most important one. Because if you can trust that something's going to manifest, that's really all you need. That's what we were talking about in the Choose to Believe material. If you can believe it, then it can manifest. The other two steps, relax and imagine, are one of the easiest way to get to trust. So in the context of what we're doing, all three are kind of equally valuable. And relaxation, the thing that I really want to talk about relaxation, it's more than just sitting down, closing your eyes, and taking a deep breath. I mean, that's just bare minimum relaxation. What you really want to do is you want to get down deep within yourself to the point where you're almost falling asleep. So you want to get yourself very, very comfortable so that you can just let everything go. One of the examples that I keep thinking about, and I don't want to do it right now, but if I were to completely relax, I'd be laying on the floor. It'd be just a puddle of bones and muscle and no tension anymore. So that's perfect relaxation. Because the chairs that we have here, I don't expect you to relax that deeply, but I want to try to help you get into as deep of a relaxation as we can. So that's just the context of what we're doing. Okay, so go ahead, close your eyes, take a deep breath, get that level done. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the lights down a little bit. Okay, everyone has their own unique process for relaxing. I'm trying to say three different words all at the same time. Let me relax and stop doing that. Okay. One good thing, focus on your breathing. Just clear your mind of all the details. Forget everything that we've talked about so far. Just focus on this moment now. Just focus on letting go of any tension, letting go of any thoughts, letting go of anything that prevents you from relaxing deeply. One way that does help with relaxing is by focusing on different muscle groups and telling them to go ahead and relax. Imagine them doing so and then moving on. So I tend to start from the top down. We can relax our eyelids. We can relax our cheeks. We can relax our jaws. Relax your ears. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck. I missed that one. Relax your arms. Relax your hands. Relax your chest. Relax your back. Relax your waist. Relax your hips. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax the calves. Relax your feet. And relax your toes. You can relax even further by imagining yourself in an ideal peaceful setting, whatever setting is most appropriate for you. For some people it may be sitting on a beach. For others it may be sitting in front of a fire. For others it may be laying in a tub of warm water. You may like to imagine yourself floating on a cloud. Just allow all tension to drift away. Just be in the space. If any thoughts come into your mind, just simply ignore them. Don't fight with anything. Just let them be, and they will disappear. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and finish this exercise, and we're going to come back into the room. So go ahead and bring yourself back up out of that blissful feeling. We will be returning several times today.
Last.
So, just checking who had trouble relaxing during that space. That's fine. That's fine. It was a very short thing. So it looks like everyone got to feel a nice level of relaxation in there. That's good. Yeah, lights on or off doesn't matter too much. So I guess, let's see here. Okay, my notes get a little confusing in here. It looks like I kind of combined a couple different things, so just ignore those for right now. Let me just ask, any thoughts about just the relaxation process itself? As far as the ideas that I was suggesting, did that help or did that interfere? Looks like I'm getting a helping thing here. Okay. Okay. That was really just a practice run anyways, so that was just to kind of help make the future things a little bit easier to go with. So next, we're going to go into the imagination part of the process. Visualizing. How many people here think that they have trouble visualizing? No hands going up. Good.
One.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Too much. Just too much noise.
Too much noise. Okay. So the way I'm interpreting what you're saying is that you can visualize, but it's not always as clear as you'd like it to be.
I want it all.
You want it all.
I
Nothing wrong with that.
Visualize this, and then I move to that, and then it's like.
Okay. Is that even when you're trying to focus on a single visualization? Are you feeling like you're being pulled away from your core focus, or is that what you actually want to be visualizing?
I think the problem with me is I don't know what I want, but I want it all.
Okay. Okay. Perfectly valid, because I've been there. I mean, I think everyone's kind of been to that direction to some degree or not. We will get there. We will address that. Okay, so visualizing. Okay, so just a little bit on that. So there's an exercise that I use myself that can improve your ability to visualize. In fact, it's based on an idea that kind of came about as a very big surprise to me. A couple years ago, as some of you know, I started getting back into photography again. I bought a really nice digital camera. I bought software to do editing on the computer. And in the process of pursuing the photography, I would take pictures into the camera, into the computer from the camera. I would bring the picture up on the screen, and then I would zoom way in to see, okay, where's my focus? Is it sharp? Are all the details the way I want them? How's the noise in there? All that kind of stuff. And then I'd zoom back out and see the whole picture again. Then I'd zoom back into another part of the picture, and I'd zoom back out again. And I would do that with hundreds of pictures. After a period of time, and I don't remember exactly how long because I wasn't expecting it, so it may have been a couple weeks, it may have been a couple months, I don't really know. But I noticed at some point, whenever I would close my mind and visualize something, they were so much sharper than ever before. And what I realized had happened was because I was looking at a picture, zooming in tight, coming back out, zooming in tight, coming back out, zooming in tight, coming back out, I was training my mind to see the details even from the zoomed out aspect of it. So it's like right now I see the whole room, but part of my mind is looking at the tiny details within each face. And if I close down and visualize, it's like, yeah, I can still see the faces. And so there's an exercise that comes out of that I wanted to share with you. And it can help with training your ability to visualize. And so the next step is to grab a small object. It doesn't really matter what it is. It can be a pen, it can be a purse, it can be a crystal, it can be whatever. If you need to get up and grab something, go right ahead. Because I want you to have something in your hand that you can look at. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay, so right now I want you to really look at the thing that you're holding, and I'm gonna pick this. Look at it. Go ahead. Yep. Grab. Oh, I'm not sure exactly which one you wanted. So, okay. So I want you to look at whatever it is that you're holding, and really try to memorize it. Really let the image be the center focus of your mind. Look at it very, very intently. Try to memorize every little detail about it. And now I want you to close your eyes and imagine what you were just looking at. Try to notice the same details that you saw with your physical eyes. Now go ahead and open your eyes again. Take a look. Compare what you're seeing with what you remembered seeing. Take a look at those details. Pay attention. Let the images burn into your brain. Now close your eyes again. Remember what you were just looking at. Let the image come forward in your mind with all the details that you saw with your physical eyes. Now go ahead and open your eyes again. Take a look at it again. Now, one more time, go ahead and close your eyes. Try to remember all those little details. How clear can you make the image within your mind? Okay, now, how many people feel like that has helped already? I mean, that's been a very, very short experiment. Anybody feeling like they're seeing a little bit better in their mind now? Okay, I'm getting a couple of thumbs up already. And that was just, what, a minute or two? If you work with this exercise for, say, 10 minutes, half hour, an hour, your ability to visualize within your mind is going to go up dramatically. The same process can be used with all of your different senses. The sense of taste, the sense of touch, feeling the texture of the crystal, feeling it and then just imagining that you're feeling it, feeling it and then imagining that you're feeling it, feeling it and then imagining that you're feeling it. Or with food, taste something, take one bite, taste, really pay attention to all the sensations, the smell, the taste, the texture of the food, swallow, and then just imagine that you're taking another bite. And then relive that experience within the imagination. And then repeat it physically, and then do it in the imagination, then physically, then imaginary. Go back and forth, and it really trains you to visualize with all of your senses in much more detail. Anybody want to practice with this exercise more? You were kind of, how are you doing?
Good.
Pretty good. You want to keep going?
You mean do some more of it?
Do some more of the
Yeah, I think
exercise?
that might be a good idea.
Okay. You kind of know what to do, so I'll just kind of let you do it. Just open eyes, close eyes, open eyes, close eyes. Repeat it until you think that you're
A
imagining.
different object?
If you want to change objects, go right ahead. Yep. I'll just kind of sit and be quiet for a few minutes. everybody doing? Anybody want more time? Okay, looks like we're doing good. I noticed you were working with the feeling of touch. How's that coming so far?
It's easy, I think.
Okay. Anybody else have a thought to share about this exercise?
People that draw, specifically draw, maybe in different arts also, but is that something that I'm sharing? It's something that develops with the more experience they have, but trying this with the different senses is totally new. So.
The reason that I wanted to bring this exercise in is because the stronger you can visualize, the easier it is to give yourself, the easier it is to communicate with your deeper mind. And this communication actually goes two ways. This is also an exercise that can be used to help develop your intuitive senses as well. Because as you get better at communicating with your subconscious mind has an easier time communicating with your conscious mind. And so, going back to that pyramid example, when the lines of communication are open between you and your deeper mind, not only can you communicate an idea to your subconscious mind for it to work on, but your subconscious mind can let you know when you need to pay attention to certain things, like you're driving down the road. If you need to slow down before you go around a curve, because something's around that curve that you can't see with your conscious mind yet. Something along that line. So this kind of exercise helps to open up those channels of communication.
So in that drawing analogy, I was taught that once you get into a certain mindset, you're using the left side of your brain, right side. Left is more conscious, and the right is the more intuitive. And that the more often you do it, the easier it is to get into. If you quit doing it for a long time, and it feels a little rusty, but it's easier to get into that mode as you do it more.
Exactly. The more you practice anything, the easier it gets. And this is definitely one of those things where if you haven't been working with it for a year or two, you probably need to dust it off a little bit before you can really use it. It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like riding a bike. You never really forget it, but you might need to develop those muscles again. Yes.
I just wanted to comment on, bringing in all the senses. I think probably each one of us is strong at one sense. We might be more well versed at visualizing in one sense, but therefore developing all your senses also gives a more balanced visualization. I particularly am strong in hearing as a musician. I can hear things really easily and memorize them, but seeing, not so good for me. Or smelling, not always. So I think using the idea of all five senses makes you more balanced when you're
Actually,
visualizing.
you can count 6 senses in there too, because there's also the emotional sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even really have to bring this up, but this would be an excellent exercise as we get older, trying to create new pathways in our brain for keeping our memory sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking in a room and then closing your eyes and trying to recall what you see. I have a girlfriend that I don't even think she's aware of it, but we'll go in somewhere and she'll come out and she'll say, "Did you see that? Did you see this?" or whatever. And it's like, I'm so oblivious. I took it all in with my eyes, but I really didn't take it in. So remembering would be good for the mind.
There's an old saying that originally came out of, I think it started with weightlifting, but it actually applies to all areas of life. The phrase is use it or lose it. Like you said, with your brain, if you get into certain patterns where you're always doing the same thing the same way, you do lose the ability to adapt to new things. So the more you break out of old patterns to do new things, the easier it becomes to do new things. So yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. One of the other reasons that I want to kind of help you develop those abilities to visualize with all of the senses is because there's a phrase that comes out of psychology that says that the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and one that is vividly imagined. And by intensifying your imagination, the visual sense, the hearing sense, the taste, smells, touch, by bringing all of those factors in a very strong way, you make your visualizations that much more real and vivid to the point where they can be confused with real experiences. And again, going back to, if I ever met an alien, my belief would be there 100%. By making your imagination so much more intense and real, your subconscious mind stores it as a real memory, and it becomes the basis for new beliefs.
This is something I wanted to ask a little bit about. I just focused on like the bottom of this little container and didn't realize until I was really focusing on it that there's an imprint. And so when I was visualizing on the shadow of the imprint, which was a negative positive.
Contrast.
Yeah, contrast. Yeah. So it was different.
Yeah. That's another thing that I've noticed is that when you really focus on a sense, whether it's visual or hearing or whatever else, as you continue focusing on that, you do notice details that you didn't first notice. Or like you were saying, you walk into a room and the details are there whether you notice them or not. It's just how quickly do you notice those details, and some of it is just practice. So.
And I do try to do that when I very rarely go shopping at night. But if I do, and I'm parking out in a parking lot and I'm walking into a shopping mall, I'm very aware of my surroundings, going and coming, because that probably could save my life. So, that's a exercise.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of times Linda and I will go into a store and then we come back out and again it's like, where did we park? I mean, if you don't pay any attention at all, that's kind of what happens. So, we've gotten into the habit of, okay, we're going in, that's the door, yep, okay, there's the sign, we're in the E lane or the C lane or whatever. Okay. Paying attention and making those mental notes. But again, if we were to practice it, it would become easier so we wouldn't have to actually put conscious thought into it.
So practice being conscious.
Yes.
Mindfulness meditation, as they call it.
3C.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Okay, so we've gone through that part. Now, the next one is really just an expansion on the same idea, and that is to focus your attention on something that's pleasurable, or what I call allowing yourself an indulgence. And the thing that I've noticed here is that when you focus on something that feels good, there's a part of you that just naturally relaxes into that. I mean, for me, the warm temperature in this room feels good. So that by itself is helping me relax. If I'm cold, then I can't really relax as well. If I'm eating something that tastes really good, I will focus my attention on that taste and allow that to make a direct impact on my mind, partly just to enhance the experience, but also partly so that when it comes time for me to put myself into a semi-trance state, I can replay that memory again in my mind. And it's been kind of a nice thing because we're sitting in the evening on the couch, and there's a lot of times where we go for a snack or something else, and that's probably not quite what I need all the time. So sometimes I can sit there and I can just imagine having the snack.
How well does that work? Tell me.
Depends on how far I relax. If I'm doing it and I'm not completely relaxed, it just makes me hungry. But if I actually relax and go deep within first and then replay it in my mind, it's like, yeah, that was nice.
It's delicious.
The other day, what day was it? Linda came home and asked me if I had lunch, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I remember eating, but was it real or was it imaginary? So, because I don't really have anything here, that was one of the things I thought of originally, but didn't actually happen. I was thinking of bringing in these little treats so that you can actually have that physical indulgence.
Did it for you.
Huh?
Yeah.
Joan did it for you.
I'm still tasting the,
Joan brought in the
that
treats.
ice cream.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah, that's
Yours
right.
is
We
in
have
the
one for
freezer.
you.
That's right. Okay. So,
It's in a secret place.
okay. Well, actually, that's probably a good thing, because what I had planned to do my secondary plan was to just simply lead you down into that meditation spot and have you remember a time that you were indulging a sense or two or whatever. So let's go ahead and turn the lights down, and we'll go ahead and do that relaxation bit again. And this time we're relaxing in for a purpose. So here again, close the eyes, deep breath, shake out any muscle tension that you might have, stretch if you need to. Tell the different muscles of your body to go ahead and relax. Ignore any thoughts that come into your mind and allow yourself to drift into a comfortable, clear space. We're going to take a little bit different pathway into the relaxation. We're going to count our way down. And as we count down from 10 to 1, imagining that you're moving lower within yourself, imagining the feeling of going down in an elevator or any other way that you want to visualize going down within yourself. So we start at 10 and we go down to 9 and then we go down to 8. And relax further down into 7, moving to 6. Relaxing each step of the way, going down to 5, moving down to 4, relaxing further as we get to 3, down to 2, and all the way down to 1. Relax into your ideal peaceful surroundings, whether it's the beach, the fire, the tub, the cloud, or any other place that you feel most relaxed. Allow yourself to drift constantly into deeper and deeper relaxation. And remember a time when you experienced something very enjoyable. And I want you to repeat the experience within your mind and notice all of the sights, the sounds, the tastes, the smells, and the feelings that went with it. as much as you can, imagine it with as much detail, vividness, and clarity. Make it as real as you possibly can. Notice the feeling of pleasure that comes with this experience. And I want you to turn your attention to the feeling of pleasure itself. If it were an energy, if it were a color, what color would it be? If it were a sound, what would it sound like? Pay close attention to the feeling of pleasure that you get from the enjoyable experience. What would it feel like if it were twice as pleasurable? Could you imagine this feeling of pleasure filling your entire body? Imagine it growing stronger and more intense. Can you redirect this feeling of pleasure to a specific area of your body that feels like it might need a little help? Imagine now that this feeling of pleasure that is growing stronger and stronger within your mind has become a magnet, attracting all good things to you. Imagine this magnetic force spreading out throughout the entire world, touching anything and everything necessary to manifest the things that you want. And you're probably good for now, so at this point we're going to return back to the room. We're going to bring our energy back up into our physical body. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Don't want to come back.
I get that. Okay, we've got one more person to bring back. No, there she is. Okay. Okay, so tell me what you think on that one. Let's share. Was there any part of that experience that felt like it wasn't quite going the way you wanted it to go?
You mean like going to sleep?
Did you go to sleep?
I think I did a couple nods and flew out there.
No, I didn't.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong would you feel, what number would you give the feeling that came out of that exercise?
Like 1
10 being the most intense thing that you've ever felt in your entire life. How strong were you able to imagine that feeling of pleasure coming back up?
8.
4? Okay. I heard an 8. 5?
About 5.
Okay. on that type of a scale where 10 is the most intense thing you've ever felt, a 5 is a good number. 8 is incredible. 4 is close. 4 is close. Anything over a 3 is good. Anything over a 3 is good. And like Tony, was it? As Tony mentioned earlier, the more you practice, the better you get at it, the easier it becomes. So my purpose, I've only got 4 hours here. The only thing I can really do is to introduce you to these things. And it's your homework, I guess to say, to continue working with these. And
You were taking and redirecting the feeling of peace and relaxation to a body part that was maybe tense. I really liked that part because I did a lot of painting over the last couple of days, and I really had a kink in my shoulder, and I really just felt, I wasn't paying attention to it because I was relaxing, but all of a sudden I just felt it go pop when you said that. It was nice.
you know, that's something that I've only realized a few days ago. That you can take that feeling of pleasure, redirect it to a body part, and it acts as a healing influence. As Linda knows, I have a tooth that's been giving me some trouble, and it's probably time to get it taken care of. But over the last couple of days, I've been using this process that I just shared with you and redirecting that feeling to that area, and it's getting stronger. It's a lot better now than it was. So I wanted to throw that in. Okay, so it sounds like we're doing pretty good. Oh, you know what? Is everyone else comfortable with the heat level in here? Because usually when I'm comfortable, other people are dying. So, okay.
Alan,
Yes.
I think what I just thought about, I know the steps and the nuts and bolts of this power of attraction and all this, but it's the emotions, the feelings that I have not applied, I suppose. And it just seems like there's something very powerful that I've been going through the steps, but not putting any emotion to it, no feeling.
And I completely get where you're coming from on there, because I've done that for most of my life. In fact, one of the reasons why Choose to Believe got as complicated as it did was because I was all in that headspace. Because I'm thinking, okay, we have beliefs, we have thoughts, we have feelings. Where is that power? Where is the power of manifestation? And I settled on the idea that it's our beliefs that are what causes things to manifest for us. But what I eventually realized was that the emotion helps us to shift the beliefs to a more positive direction. Because the emotion that we take into our belief work affects the beliefs that we're creating. If we're going into let's say we're doing affirmations or we're doing a visualization, and my pattern was always, okay, I'm gonna do this work, I'm gonna be serious about this, I'm gonna make this happen. And that was the energy that I took into that experience with. Well, there's a set of unspoken beliefs in that energy. There's a set of unspoken beliefs in that emotion. And what I eventually learned was that if I focus on the feeling of pleasure first, get those positive emotions going, I can bring those positive unspoken beliefs into my other work, and it makes the work a whole lot better. And then that's what eventually led to the symbolic solution process, is that I can take that positive emotion, come in with an intention to change a whole bunch of beliefs. And then I don't even need to worry about the beliefs themselves. And that's what we're getting into in the next couple exercises. Okay. So that's section 4 of the outline. I only got about a page left to go. Okay. Let's see. Okay. the next section is actually talking about what we're eventually getting to. We've done our relaxation exercise. We've done a couple imagination exercises. Where we're going with this, what we're getting to, is a specific type of visualization, a specific type of way, a specific thing to do in our imagination is where we're going to with all this. Let me flip around. No, I want to keep that. So, okay. So, what do I need to write down? Because you've got the handout yourself. For me, it works better. I'm a visual person, so for me, having a diagram actually helps. Words are fine, but I like pictures even better. Okay, so we're going on a pathway. This is our starting point. This will be our ending point. And there's a lot of different things we can do between there. The first thing that we do is we come down and we relax first. That's our first stop on the pathway, is we relax first. As we relax, we make contact with our inner mind, whether you call it subconscious mind, superconscious mind, divine mind, whatever word you want to use is fine. We connect with that deeper wisdom. Once we make that connection, it's like you made your phone call, what do you say now? Making the connection is fine in and of itself. It does help open up those channels of communication. It does help improve intuition. So just getting to that point alone does help. But there's a whole lot more that we can do beyond that. So the next step is we ask our deeper mind for a symbol to represent what we want to manifest, whether it's greater confidence, whether it's a more loving attitude and acceptance, whether it's more money, winning the Powerball, whatever. We have to ask our subconscious mind for a symbol that it represents, that it associates with our chosen outcome. Now, the way that we ask is through the visualization. You visualize your end result. Now, this is kind of the normal, typical visualization suggestion. You visualize what you want to manifest. The main difference so far is that we're making sure to relax deeply enough so that we can make a strong connection with our inner mind before we do the visualization. That's the main difference between this and typical visualization process. So we visualize. Well, let's go ahead and clarify this instead of just ask. We go ahead and visualize goal. Whoops. Okay, we visualize the goal that we want to manifest. That's our third step on this pathway. Visualize the goal and ask for a symbol. Now, at this point, when we ask for the symbol, and here again, I'm just describing the process before we actually go through it, so you kind of have an idea what to expect. When we ask for the symbol, we could get literally anything. As I mentioned at the first part, I asked for a symbol to represent success. My deeper mind gave me band music, a very specific song. And I was really surprised at that. But that was the symbol that my mind gave me. Another example, and I guess I'm getting ahead of myself again on the outline, but that's fine. This is where it fits in. Another example, when I asked for my mind to give me a symbol to represent wealth, I got gold, which makes a lot of sense, but it was not exactly what I had expected. I expected paper money, green. I expected a symbol of myself in a suit and tie and going to fine restaurants and that kind of thing. The symbol and this is what I'm getting into, the symbol can be anything. The symbol can be a feeling and nothing more. It can be a color and nothing more. It can be an event of actually meeting someone and talking to somebody. It could be an image of a person's face. And the immediate example that comes to mind, at least for some people, it's possible to go in and say, okay, I want to manifest more love into my life. And you can visualize love in whatever way that you want to visualize that. You can ask for the symbol. And I see an absolute possibility that for somebody, they're going to see the face of their mother. That could be a symbol that represents love for somebody. The idea is that the symbol could be anything. Don't pass over anything just because it's not the type of symbol you're expecting. It could be a sound. It could be a single tone. It could be music. It could be a particular instrument. It could be the sound of a guitar. I mean, who knows? Could be the sound of a piano. Whatever. Could be the sound of a cash register, especially if you're asking for money. So you ask for a symbol, you get the symbol. So, okay, we get our symbol, and that comes from our deeper mind, whatever level, depending on how far down you go. The deeper you go, the better, but anything is better than what we get on our conscious level. Okay, so we get the symbol from our subconscious mind. Now, the thing that really makes this powerful is you want to identify with the essence of what you're manifesting. Going back to the beginning, what we manifest outside ourselves comes from inside ourselves. As within, so without. As above, so below, kind of talking about our inner mind being the above. We become, or no, let me rephrase that. We experience the essence of who we are. That's a phrase that I tend to keep in my mind. We experience what we are. So we want to identify with that symbol. So going back to the example of when I went in and I said, okay, I want to manifest more wealth into my life, and I had that symbol of gold, what I did was I imagined that my entire body was becoming that metal. I was becoming the symbol.
Getting Midas. Don't do that.
Gold member.
I'm sorry, what? I heard
That came out loud, didn't it?
Back row heard it.
Gold member.
Okay. But the idea was that I started resonating to that same frequency. It's like our mind, well,
Gold
this may not necessarily be true for everyone, but at least for me, every idea has its own vibration. And the vibration that I normally associate with myself was different than the vibration that I associated with the wealth. And so what I had to do is I had to merge the two so that I was vibrating on that same frequency. One of the other ways that I've used this integration process was to imagine the symbol being placed within every cell of my body. And this works especially well if you end up with like a line drawing symbol. I mean, if you end up with a symbol that kind of looks like who knows what, let's say that's the symbol you come up with, and it's a line drawing. If you imagine that symbol being imprinted on every cell of your body, every organ of your body, every aspect of you and your life. For instance, if you imagine that on the front door of your house, if you imagine that on every chair that you sit in, if you imagine that on your bed, if you imagine that on the food that you eat, and that symbol becomes everywhere for you,
Is that a
then your
person
inner
carrying a
mind
bag of
is
gold?
given the instruction to manifest this symbol, or at least the essence of what the symbol represents, into your daily life. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is that a person carrying a bag of gold?
Could be. Could be. But the idea is that once you get the symbol, you want to go back to visualizing again and visualize that symbol everywhere. And you especially want to visualize that symbol as being a part of yourself. That's one way of using the symbol. There's another way of using the symbol as well. And it actually involves asking for two different symbols. You get one symbol for the goal that you have, and then you also get another symbol that represents where you're at now. Especially if you want to convert one thing to another. One of the things that I put on the flyer was converting fear into confidence. And a very good way of doing that is to ask for two symbols. You get a symbol for fear, you get a symbol for confidence, and then you imagine the fear symbol turning into the confidence symbol. And when you do that, when you're very deeply connected to your inner mind gets that message to turn the fear into confidence. And that becomes the whole process. In fact, I was telling Tony today that that's actually one of the things that I was doing last night and this morning because I wasn't quite as prepared for this workshop as I'd like to be. I'm never as prepared as I'd like to be. I had the butterflies going. I think most speakers will admit to having those at some point. I went through this process, and actually I have to admit I didn't connect as deeply as I really could have. I just did it on a more surface level. But I told my mind, okay, give me a symbol for this nervousness. And I got a symbol of a black sludge, negative energy. Okay, I said, okay, I want to convert this. I want to convert this into confidence and enthusiasm for what I'm doing. And so I gave my mind free rein to convert that any way it wanted. And so I saw myself at the stove. I put the black sludge in the pot. I had this magical seasoning that I sprinkled in, and it converted the black sludge into, actually it was kind of a gold liquid. And
Yummy.
Exactly. Once it was done cooking, poured it right back in, converted the nervousness into a confidence. And I have to say that while there probably was still a little bit of nervousness as I came in today, it was maybe only 5% of what it was last night. So that's just one way of using this process of converting one symbol into another.
Transmuting.
So can you summarize? The first symbol is the goal, and we search our subconscious mind for a symbol, and then we try to identify that or have it implant on us. Then the second symbol is, how do I?
Okay, I may have confused you because I'm talking about two completely different processes, two options.
Oh,
Okay.
they are separate?
Yeah, you can either go down one pathway or you can go down another. It's basically, we're on this pathway and there's a branch here. You can go two different ways.
Oh.
Sorry, I probably confused you with that. What I've got written in the outline is the first way that I described, which is just simply get one symbol that represents what you want to manifest, and then to merge with that symbol so that your subconscious mind is given the instruction that you want to become that. You want to become the essence of what you want to manifest. And that really is the simplest way. Converting one symbol to another is a little bit more advanced. It's going a little bit different direction. It's probably not even needed. The thing that I did last night, I probably didn't need to get the symbol for the nervousness. I probably could have just ignored that completely and I could have asked my subconscious mind, give me a symbol for confidence. And then I could have brought that symbol into myself and allowed that to do whatever it needed to do, get rid of the nervousness. I could have done that too. So
The other
it's
way was
just-
kind of fun.
Hmm?
The other way was kind of fun.
Exactly, and that's part of the point of this whole thing. What Tony and I were talking about before is that the energy we bring into the process affects the process itself. So if we're having fun with it, it just makes it work a whole lot better. It pushes it in a more positive direction.
I think it gives your mind also more to think about, so for people who think too much. I
Keep
think
you busy.
Well, yeah, I think it might be helpful to have that go of one to another,
Yeah, this is, you've hit on something here, Alan. This is pretty cool. This is like talking to the subconscious symbolically, which is where it's vibrating. This is pretty cool. The lights are going on, you know what I'm saying? This is fun.
You know, one of
He
the
likes
things that I
alchemy.
really started realizing after working with this is that now that I see how some of this works on the inner level, I understand things like ceremonial magic so much more now than I did before. Whereas before I thought it was just, okay, we're going to follow this process, we're going to draw these symbols on the floor, we're going to use these tools and say these words and incantations and everything. And whereas before I thought it was just, if you believe in it, it's going to work. Kind of a placebo effect kind of thing. But now I see it in a different way, that it's a way of communicating with the subconscious mind that, okay, subconscious mind, this is what I want you to do. This represents the old way, this represents the new way, and I want you to destroy this one and put this one in center focus.
Yeah.
So I'm understanding a lot more things in a new way now that I've started working with this process. So I'm having fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Shows.
I'm gonna
Okay.
punch at the steak.
So
Fun.
a couple different things we can do with the symbol, and then basically,
Especially the wrong way.
again, there's a couple ways to go with it.
Oh, I'm not.
And really, the only step that comes after that is waking up again. And then we're done.
Why the big square before the wake?
Actually, the square was two different pathways. We can go this pathway, or we can go this pathway.
meaning one symbol or two symbols.
Right. And actually, there's many different things that you could do in there. I probably should have just given you the one example and kept it simple, and then maybe introduced the other ways sometime later. I'll have to remember that for the next time. Keep it simple. And that,
We got it.
yeah.
No worries.
Keep
No
it-
worries.
Did you say keep it simple?
You have your idea of thinking of it all day long. Then
Coin
that
it.
has
Coin.
more powerful effect, I would assume, right, than just the exercise.
Oh, okay. You're bringing up a very important point. Okay, when we're done with the actual session itself, when you come out of the session, you've learned what your subconscious associates with the thing that you want to manifest. You have your symbol. So as you go through your daily life, you can recall that symbol periodically. When you go into a situation where you think, okay, well, this relates to what I want to manifest, you can consciously project that symbol into what you're working with. Imagine that symbol on a conscious level, and the lines of communication between your conscious and subconscious remain open because your subconscious, it knows that symbol. That's its own symbol. So when you remind your subconscious, okay, remember, we want to be confident in this situation, or we want to keep ourselves focused on a profitable activity, then your subconscious hears what you're saying with the symbol, and then it redirects your focus, your emotions, so that you're doing the right thing at the right time in the right way.
It's like a hypnosis, isn't it?
Exactly. It does touch into hypnosis. And working with the subconscious mind on that level, yes. Yep. So, any questions, any other questions on the process?
So after I get my symbol, I put it into my body in every cell. I put it everywhere I see it, and it becomes my friend.
Pretty much.
Okay.
What happens at that point is your subconscious mind gets the message that you are directing it to embody the essence of what that symbol represents. So if your symbol was for health or vitality or youthfulness or whatever it is that you wanted to manifest, then by putting that into the cells of your body, your subconscious says, oh, okay, we want more energy. Okay, I'll start getting the energy production running up again, firing up that metabolism.
Good thing to put in your pillow.
If you think about what it is that you want, and say there's 3 important things. Okay.
Money,
Are
sex,
you-
and power.
All right.
Thumbs up includes all
So,
3.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he channeled that.
Now, do you implant 3 different
Thumbs up.
symbols into all the cells of your body, and then when you feel like becoming more confident, you bring forward that symbol? You feel like being a painter or a photographer, you bring forth that symbol? I mean, can you clutter up the cells with all these symbols?
Yeah. You can do multiple symbols for different things. In fact, it's a really good idea to have different symbols for different things that you want to bring up at different times. What I would recommend is that you go through this process separately for each one. You would go in and say, okay, I want to fire up my inspiration or creativity or whatever that you want to have in the painting. And you go through the process, you relax, you make contact with your deeper mind, you visualize yourself painting and being very expressive in that art form, and then you say, okay, subconscious mind, give me a symbol that represents this. And you wait, you clear your mind, you allow your subconscious mind to give you its symbol for that creativity, that inspiration, and then you say, okay, thank you, subconscious mind, doesn't have to be a specific set of words, just the general idea. Thank you, this looks good, and you get it all in there. You infuse that symbol into your essence, whether you think of it in terms of physical essence or mental essence, or if you have a division between there. Just put that symbol everywhere. Visualize that symbol everywhere that you would want to have that creativity, and then that implants it in place. And then when you come out of it and you wake back up and you go and you pick up the paintbrush or whatever, then you can bring up that symbol again and say, okay, now's the time to turn on that creativity. And then you visualize the symbol and flow with it. And then a different time, you would go in, you would relax, make contact, connect with your deeper mind and say, okay, now I want to manifest the house on the beach or whatever it was. And you visualize that and you say, okay, give me a symbol that represents this. And you might see a seagull flying or a stone, a beach stone or whatever. Whatever your symbol is, you'll get that. You'll put that symbol everywhere within yourself. You'll put that symbol on your home, especially. In fact, that's one of those areas where you can take the other approach and see your current home convert into the other home. If you wanted to move or to change where you're living there, you can see it convert from one to the other, or you can just see them sitting side by side if you want to have both. I mean, why not have both?
Just don't cause a flood.
So, and then you go through that process for that goal, and then as you go through your day, you might choose to visualize that symbol from time to time, and then when you go back to the painting, you visualize that symbol. So you can have multiple symbols for different things. What I would recommend not doing, or what I would not recommend doing, is going through, relaxing, making contact, and then visualizing 3 different things. Okay, give me a symbol for all of these.
Yeah.
That might clutter things up a little bit. So going back to I want everything, let's ask for one thing at a time. And then if you want to go through it 10 different times, feel free. So
Is this like law of attraction work?
it is exactly that, yes. Just to reinforce this, and partly it's also for my recording, law of attraction works in 2 different ways. There's the spiritual level that we all believe in, that our energy goes out into the world and attracts things to us. And I've seen that happen so many times that I don't even question it anymore. I've seen the alien on that one. But there's also the other approach, the practical side, that when you integrate the essence of an idea with yourself, when you see yourself as resonating to the same frequency, then you start to make different decisions based on that feeling, based on that belief, and those decisions lead to actions which lead to results. So even if there was no such thing as a spiritual level, all this would still have an impact because of all that. Yes?
There's 2 things that you said that I think you should put in your diagram, because I think they need to be on the diagram. And that's, first of all, that when you ask, you need to clear yourself before you get your symbol, because I, being an impatient person, would probably expect it to happen maybe immediately, and maybe it doesn't happen immediately. And the other thing is expressing the gratefulness for receiving the information. I think that's important that you put that on your chart, because I think that's probably that you said that, and that was like, oh yeah. Might not have thought of that.
In addition to those 2 things, there's also another thing that I didn't put into this, which is to bring up those positive feelings, that feeling of pleasure that we were talking about before, because that helps color the entire process. Relax, connect, and part of that connection is imagining that positive feeling, imagining those pleasurable feelings, because that helps you make a deeper contact with your own internal mind. And again, those pleasurable feelings, it doesn't have to be just the taste of good food. It doesn't have to be the feeling of sitting in a tub of warm water or laying on a beach or whatever. It could be the feeling of getting a massage. It could be the feeling of hugging someone that you really care about. It could be a lot of different things. Whatever makes you feel good is part of this connection process. And yeah, when we express appreciation for what we're given by the subconscious mind, it's like working with another person. The more you appreciate what somebody does for you, the more that person wants to do more things for you. So, yeah, when we ask our subconscious mind for something, it responds, we appreciate it, it helps to cement that relationship.
This just came to mind for me 100 years ago, give or take 10. I spent some time with Ram Dass, and I had a lot of anger issues, and Ram Dass put me through this meditation technique, and he said, whenever you meditate, he said, just hold your thumb and your middle finger together whenever you meditate. And so he said, just try to meditate. He didn't give me a whole lot of work to do. He said, once a week or so. He said, and then when you find yourself losing your temper, he said, all you need to do is do this. Because that'll bring back the muscle memory of that meditation and will bring your body back to that memory of the meditation and will help slow everything down and help dissipate your anger. And it worked so well. And the reason I brought it up is this is reminding me of all that. Is
Right.
that you're actually, with the relaxation, you're putting that symbol into the memory of being relaxed, having positive feelings. So when that symbol comes to mind, it's making that connection again.
Right. And the only real difference between that and what I'm talking about here is that he gave you that symbol and you taught that symbol to your subconscious mind. And then once the subconscious mind learned that that's what that represented or that's what that was connected to, then you were able to use that, as NLP would say, it's an anchor.
Yeah.
It's an anchor for that resourceful state so that you can trigger that anchor and bring up the resourceful state, the meditative state. So, yeah,
It was powerful.
it is. It
Now,
is
there's,
definitely.
one thing I'd like to say, John and I took the soul and mind control class in the 70s, and that was an amazing class, and you know it's an intensive, and so by the end of the week your mind is really open and pliable to new ideas. And what came to my mind when we were talking about this was we asked, it was a guided meditation, and the leader said, the elevator doors are going to open now, and your guide will come forward.
Mhm.
And, you know, you didn't have time to imagine who it was going to be. It was just like, now, this person is your guide. So when we ask, when we're totally relaxed, and we ask our subconscious to give us a symbol, whatever symbol comes, we take and don't question,
Exactly.
because
It's coming directly from your own subconscious mind.
Mhm.
And it's saying, okay, you want to talk to me about, let's say, love.
Mhm.
This is what I recognize as being love.
And how do we tell it's not our conscious mind putting that idea? Just practice.
Part of it is practice. Part of it is getting relaxed to the point where
It doesn't matter.
relaxed and into that
Doesn't
positive
matter.
emotion state.
Yeah.
Even if it's a conscious symbol, you mean it doesn't?
Yeah. I mean, would it matter? As long as you relate it to something positive.
Would it really matter? The
Go in again and ask.
I would anticipate our symbols changing as we practice, and I'll get it wrong more often than I get it right when I'm trying something new. And I was taught in school there's one way to do it in the right way, and then never change your mind. Well, I'm grown from that. I've been wrong in the past so many times that I expect to be wrong first off the bat. So whatever symbol I think I got might not be the right one. So I'm going to keep
Confirm it
searching.
or whatever.
well,
I would think it would be the right one.
let me just explain it this way, or at least explain my view of it this way. If you go into and doing this process and you're visualizing what you want to manifest, and a symbol comes to mind, whether it's from conscious mind, subconscious mind, or whatever, the symbol and the visualization are occupying the same space within your mind. There's going to be a connection. Either you're learning a symbol from your subconscious mind, or your subconscious mind is going to learn a symbol from your conscious mind. It will be more powerful if it's coming from your subconscious mind, but there will still be an effect even if it's from your conscious mind. They're still going to get linked together in that space. If you want to take an extra step and make absolutely sure, then you can simply spend a little time visualizing your end result with the symbol in place so that you can match the two up even stronger. You can weld them together, in other words. If you want to take an extra step and actually make a stronger connection between that symbol and the meaning of that symbol, you can do that. Then no matter where it comes from, it's still going to work. So even at that point, there's no way to get it wrong. So, okay, you know what? At this point, let's go ahead and take another break, and then we'll come back and we'll actually go through the process.